My wife, 26F, gets weird anytime I give money to my 30M family. I just came to vacation to our home country and I gave my aunt the equivalent of $50 as a gift, or just money so they can buy food. The whole car ride back to our place, my wife was weird, didn't talk to me, and I just came to another room because I can't stand the feeling. I've tried talking to her before about this and explained her that I only do this when I come here on vacation. The amount of money I give out is minimal and it doesn't affect my finances in any given shape or form. The craziest part is, my wife doesn't care spending hundreds of dollars on weird party or seasonal decorations. Like WTF, what am I doing that's affecting her? I'm trying not to hide anything from her. What is your financial arrangement like? Your wife is trying to make your money her money, not our money. She's upset because she thinks you're giving away her money. This won't last if you keep finances merged. Go full separation again and keep it that way for the sake of your marriage. Shared finances don't work for everyone, and this is a situation where it won't work. I think there's not much you're able to do about this until you get her reasoning for not liking it. Wait for a day or so for her to chill out, then ask her genuinely why she may be uncomfortable with giving money to your family. Is it finances she's worried about? Does she not like your family? Does she think it's not an appropriate gift? I would reconsider fully combining finances. Yours, hers, and ours. Household items out of the joint account, anything personal out of individual accounts. Tell her that you're disappointed with her inability to understand your desire to want to help your family whenever you choose to do so. That her inability to do so causes you to see her in a different light, because you thought her to be a much more gracious individual. However, despite whatever issue she has with it, you don't need her permission to gift money you earned to your family members, and that she needs to figure out a way to get comfortable with it, or take her passive-aggressive behavior and attitude elsewhere. Are your family and extended family picking you up from the airport? Are they driving you around? Are they cooking meals for you? Hosting you at their houses? This is equivalent of a hotel room, bringing a nice bottle of wine to a friend's house, bringing a home-cooked meal, paying for ingredients, to a family dinner, or gas money. Maybe try and explain it that way. Something equivalent to $50 is a very small token of appreciation for a family member. Is my 30M girlfriend 25F just using me for money? This is a weird post for me to write, so I've had to take a breath before it. I'm 30M, my girlfriend is 25F. We've been dating for around 2 years. The intimacy side of things has always been up and down. I can be quite horny like 99% of the time, and so we tend to have sex on her schedule when she is horny. Recently though, I've started to notice a pattern and I'm trying to go back in my mind and see when it may have started. I brought her home takeout, which cost a chunk, then afterwards we got to be intimate, which was the first time in a week. 2 weeks ago we went out for a meal, I paid for it, I bought her a couple gifts whilst we were at the mall, lo and behold I got sex. Tonight I tried to get busy with her and she said she wasn't in the mood. She tends to say she isn't in the mood most times when I try to get busy, unless, of course, there has been some monetary gain. On her birthday I bought her jewelry worth a couple of grand and she gave me the best sex I've ever had in my life. I genuinely think that she tries harder when I've given her a gift or paid for us to do something. It's worth noting that I have a much higher paying job than her, so most of the time I'm happy to pay for all these things, including helping with her rent, but I don't understand why we only have sex when money is involved. Are these typical of a relationship? I'm quite awkward, and so this is my first serious thing. Maybe it was your general behavior that she found attractive? Try taking her out to a cheap, free date. Think picnic in the park, hiking, etc. Make it as romantic as possible. See if you get the same results. I don't know if she's using you, or maybe she has the kind of mentality many women have that she has to pay you back with sex. Or, she feels more in the mood after you spent a nice day together, ate a nice meal and you showed her affection in non-sexual way. Many women want to be intimate not when you straight up flirt with them and try to be sexual, but when you do something nice for them, take care of them, or otherwise show your warmth and affection. This is not to judge you or suggest you don't do those things because, obviously, I know nothing about your relationship other than this post. But in my conversations with my male friends, this often shows up to be an issue. How is the relationship otherwise? In general, times you've spent money on her are also times you're doing kind things for her, so focusing on the money aspect could be misleading. If you reframe this as you guys sleeping together after a day where you did something nice for her, does the pattern still hold? I don't think a gold digger is putting out for takeout, hun. It's probably tied to her feeling loved and nurtured. I tried to read this with a really open mind. I don't comprehend how you bringing home takeout is her using you for money. I think you performed a thoughtful gesture that made her feel loved and appreciated, and she opened up intimately. I don't understand how she's using you for a takeout meal. As far as the gifts and jewelry, sure. She likely felt really appreciative and wanted to give back to you. I'm also going to add, you've been dating for 2 years. Having sex weekly isn't some wild stretch, in my humble opinion, so it also doesn't sound like she's withholding from you until she gets dollar out of you. Carrot again, it was takeout. Maybe it's a bit more related to romance. Takeout? That was thoughtful, but I can't think it was about the money. Same with everything else. How often do you send sweet texts or offer to give her a massage? Or go out? I think this is you equating the wrong thing with sex. Have you discussed your sex life? That's what adults do. Boyfriends, M29, family not including me, F27, I'm Secret Santa. How do I go about Xmas with them? It's my first Christmas with my boyfriend, M29, who I've been with for 10 months. We've discussed spending a bit of time with each other's family on Christmas Day. Note: he has 3 younger siblings that are all in 2-year-plus relationships. I raised the question of what do they usually do with gift giving and what I should do about bringing gifts for them. He then let me know they have actually planned a Secret Santa, the couples and his parents, but I've not been included in it. His mom thought I would feel awkward about it, so didn't include me. I'm obviously feeling a bit rubbish as I've met his parents and siblings multiple times. I do however understand it might be an awkwardness on their side as they might not know what to get me. Do I just get something for each couple even though I'm aware that they are already doing a gift exchange so are not considering me? I don't want to make people feel awkward if they don't get me anything, but I also don't want to be embarrassed by giving something when I've been left out of the gift giving to begin with. Or do I just assume they aren't getting me anything and not bother? And since I've not been invited to be involved in this, am I best to not go to theirs at Christmas as it kind of feels like I've already been excluded? Bring a food or drink that everyone can share and some little stocking stuffers for the kids. The fact that your 10-month relationship just doesn't look as durable as his siblings' years-long relationships shouldn't leave you feeling rubbish. It's just a fact that until a couple gets to about the year or so mark in a relationship, the chances are better than not that they'll break up before they reach that milestone. These people have met you multiple times, but they still know their other kids' partners far better than they know you. The advice would be to show up with a hostess gift for everyone, a fruit basket, bakery goods, bottle of wine, something like that. This way you're not empty-handed, nor have you brought one specific gift for one specific person. If someone did put a gift for you under the tree, it won't be awkward, because you at least showed up with something. It seems like you don't want to show up empty-handed. As a good faith gesture, bring something that can be shared by all, like desserts or a side dish or a bottle of wine. Keep it simple, general, and shareable. I would not put a boyfriend or girlfriend of 10 months in my family's Secret Santa either. We did once with my little sister and the boyfriend dumped her a week before Christmas. You're overthinking this. I seriously doubt it was a purposeful exclusion. Do what most people would do when they're new to a circle, bring a gift, like a nice bottle of wine and flowers, or a delicious dessert, for the hosts, and just enjoy the day being your sweetest self. Engage in genuine conversation, use your charm, get to know everyone on a deeper level. All great relationships require both effort and time. This is your opportunity to show them how lucky they'd all be to have you stick around. Winking face. Rooting for you, babe, you got this. I would definitely skip the gift-giving part of Christmas with his family. How do I, 28 female, convince my husband 31M to get help? My husband and I have been married for 4 years and together for 6. Right when we got together, I noticed that he visits the doctor a lot and have had multiple unnecessary procedures, e.g. a colonoscopy at 24 years old for no reason. When I asked about it, he started crying and told me that he is very afraid of getting sick and dying, to the point that he practically goes to the doctor for every little thing that he feels, and that if, for example, he has a headache, his mind goes to brain cancer. If he has gas, he thinks it's colon cancer. Before me, he had never shared that with anyone, only his doctors, that really pushed him to get help before starting to cancel appointments or prescribe pain relievers. Anytime he would feel anything, he would go into a panic, and the internet would drive him crazy, because if you Google any symptoms you will definitely find that it could potentially be something serious, and he would just focus on that. He refuses therapy and think that he can manage his condition without it impacting me. After 2 years, we became really inseparable, and even with him hiding his anxiety over disease from me, it started to impact me, as I notice when he is really stressed or sad or have nightmares, and I loved him so much that I wanted to help, so we decided that he would stop Googling symptoms and going to the doctor, and that he would tell me whatever he was feeling, and I would tell him if it's serious and he should go to the doctor. We've had very good 2 years after that, and he really stopped worrying so much because he trusted me if I said that it's nothing. A year ago we welcomed our baby daughter, and I had to juggle being a mom and a full-time job, and our lives became very busy and stressful. His anxiety came back and he was constantly asking me the same questions every day hundreds of times, and I am really tired between the baby and my work. I don't really have the energy to reassure him 100 times a day, and that's when we started arguing, and I found that I prefer being alone with my baby doing all the work than be with him and have a lot of the chores and baby stuff off my back but have his anxiety and struggles on my shoulders. Things really started to go south last weekend. He went on trip with his friends for a wedding and I stayed home with the baby. He was miserable the entire time and even stayed in the hotel because he was not in the mood to go out with his friends. I on the other hand had a blast being home alone with my baby, and I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. When he came back I told him that he needs therapy because I can't handle his condition anymore, and he said that this is what I signed up for and that I knew about his problems before we even moved in together. He refuses therapy and I don't know what to do. I really love him and he is a great husband and father, and divorce is really off the table for me, but I can't help but think, what will it be in 10 years, or if he does really get sick, can I handle this? So this is my first Reddit post asking for help convincing him to get help and solve the issue. How do I convince him to go to therapy? Edit. Divorce is off the table not because I can't but because I don't want to. My husband, the love of my life, is sick. My question was, how can I help him, and not how can I run away from the first obstacle that life threw at us. And yes, my child would be impacted, but she would be impacted as well if he had a physical condition. Do you advise women with sick husbands to leave to protect their children? He is not a bad person, he is the best person to me, but he is sick and I want to help, hence my question. You can't convince him to go to therapy. And even if he gave in and went to appease you, he isn't going to get any benefit unless he commits himself to the process. The only thing you can change in this situation is what you do. You can tell him, I do not have the capacity to care for myself, the baby, and the extra load of your mental health issues. There is no path forward where things continue as they are. I won't continue to live like this. It's not an ultimatum. He can do whatever he chooses, but he'll have to live with whatever decision you make in response. I'd stick with your ultimatum. I've suffered with extreme anxiety and fully recognize it's unfair to put the burden on someone else by refusing to get help. It's also going to negatively affect your child. He said that this is what I signed up for. Tell him that he's driving you to divorce. If this is what you signed up for, then it's time to sign out. Set a boundary and tell him he can choose help, or you'll have to choose you and your daughter. I would bet a lot of money that he has OCD. He shouldn't have to live like this, and neither should you. Tell him he can pick medication or therapy, ideally both, or you're leaving. It's as simple as that. This disorder is triggered by stress, which means that even if it temporarily appears he is getting better on his own, any negative event, travel, work stress, your kid gets sick, can trigger another intense episode. He needs help. First, he's not a great husband or father. A great husband or dad would move mountains to be the best version of himself, especially as a father. Can you imagine how this will affect your daughter? You can't handle the stress, and I guarantee you that she can't, and she absolutely feels it. That's not okay. Time for an ultimatum. He either addresses his health anxiety or you consult with an attorney about divorce. She didn't sign up for this.